Hi there, Mr. Astin, Sean, if I may call you that. You don't know me from Adam. We do know, have a mutual friend or acquaintance, Nick Bishop. I'm Gary Swoboda. I wrote a book. This is it. Hungry Tigers, Can't Account of Addiction Recovery. Gary Swoboda, that's me. That's me. Sans beard. And I met Nick a couple years ago. There's a screenplay been written on my memoir by Angel Nijum and Frank Lotito. Both been in the entertainment industry for years. Went down to Angel's house a couple years ago. I'm sorry, I don't have anything specifically prepared. I wanted to do this from the heart, from the off the cuff, from the heart, but also I just, you know, I assume that people like you never see things like this, because you have people that look at stuff like this and throw most of this crap away. But I'm very earnest about this. I hope you do see this. I hope you do become even more interested in the project. Nick mentioned to me, as I said, went down to Angel's house, and a group of 9 actors did a table read of the screenplay based on my book. The screenplay is also entitled Hungry Tigers. Nick played my character. It is a memoir, true story of my life. But, you know, any one life encompasses so many other lives, and it's just about so much more than even just addiction and recovery. It's about family and love and life and loss and tragedy and joy and laughter. And I really think it can be an important film. I was very excited when he mentioned that he had sent, that you were a good friend of his, and he had sent the screenplay to you, and that you had liked it, loved it, loved it. That was his words, and we're interested in being a part of it, maybe playing the best friend or something, and how, in whatever fashion you would become involved in it, would be just awesome to me and to everyone. No one knows I'm sending this to you. Nick, Angel, Frank. Nobody knows. I just, on a whim, decided to do this. I spent some money and got some manager email addresses of celebrities. So, and you're the first dude on the list. I'm 64 years old. I've been a recovering addict. I've been in recovery clean. It's over 18 years, almost 19 years. You know, the screenplay touches on a lot of the aspects in my book, but not all of them. Of course, the book has a lot more detail. If you ever have a chance to sit down and read it, maybe even may pique your interest even more. But you know, we're looking for financing. That's not why I'm coming to you specifically, although we welcome financing from anyone or any area. But Frank and Angel were initially looking at about $1 million to get this movie going, independent film. Now they're, you know, they said they could do it for $500,000 if, you know, cutting some corners, whatever. I don't know, that's the wrong word. I don't want to put words in their mouths, but they said they could get it going for $500,000. Would prefer more, but it depends on the cast and on a lot of other things which you're much more familiar with than I am. I feel like I'm talking fast. I don't normally talk fast, but I'm trying to get as much as I can in a short period of time as possible. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I will accompany this with a letter where I may repeat a lot of the stuff I'm saying here, but I thought this is a little more personal touch. I'm not a 21st century guy technology-wise. This is about as tech as I get. I don't even know where to look. I'm looking at myself. I'm figuring it's looking toward you, but I don't even know. It's not like I haven't made a video before and I don't want to ramble, but I am, so we'll stop there. I'm actually sitting, and I'm in all gray, you know, and a gray car. So I hope, gray beard, so I hope you can see me. No, I'm just a little joke. My hair is kind of brown, and pretty brown. My 5 head is not gray. So, oh man, Goonies, Rudy, Lord of the Rings. You're a big name. You're a draw. You know, and for me, more your mom's age. I'm 64. Patty Duke. I was in love with your mom. I don't know, that may sound weird to you. I had a crush on her when I was a little boy, and she was in Patty Duke. But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. And they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. What a crazy pair. Okay, so that's where I first came into your family as a viewer. And John Astin, of course. And but anyway, back to the subject at hand. This book, movie, that we want to make into a movie, I'd love to have you involved. I'd love to further your interest in some way, any way we can. If you know of people that would be interested in helping finance this project and get it off the ground, that would be awesome. If you know of any other actors that would like to be in it, that might be interested in it. I really do believe this could be a movie that would help people, entertain people, hopefully inspire people, and touch people. And also, as Frank and Angela have mentioned, it's a type of story that could garner Oscar considerations and nominations if done right. And I think we have starting to get people in place that can make that happen. And you would certainly be a welcome part of that. So, what else do I want to cover? I'm sitting here, and you know part of my story, if you read the screenplay, that my wife and I lost 2 sons, my stepsons, who I love them and raised them as if they were my own. Her youngest and oldest biological sons have passed as a result of addiction. It's been a lot of years. Used to not be able to talk about either of them without breaking down, but it's been 12 years and 22 years since they passed. Our youngest, Casey, was like my little buddy. I raised him since he was 7. Michael was 15 when I met his mom, and we ended up getting married. Their parents had divorced, and their dad, they didn't see their dad growing up after that. He moved to Los Angeles, and actually I'm up here in Gresham, Oregon. I've been a Portland, Oregon area resident all my 64 years. This is why I have all this gear on, and I'm in this gray thing, and the skies are actually blue for the most part. But I'm sitting here at the cemetery where my youngest boy is interred, in a mausoleum behind me, sitting here for inspiration to talk to you, and that's not to garner any sort of pity or anything. I came here because it's quiet, and I could just speak from the heart. And his ashes, 32 years old when he died. Michael, the oldest, was 30 when he died. And then my best friend, best using buddy, died of a heroin overdose the day before I checked into treatment on heroin that I had bought for us. And none of that is to garner pity. It's just the reality of addiction. It's become a true epidemic. It's always been an issue in this country, but it's become a true epidemic in this country and the world, especially the opiates. And I myself was a so-called functional addict for many years, meaning if you call functional using and drinking every day, but kept a job, kept my marriage. My wife and I have been married 34 years. I don't know how she put up with me. I was never abusive physically or verbally, but I was neglectful when I was in search of my drugs of choice, mainly the pain medication for years, which has become the primary source of the epidemic, opiates, heroin, and pain pills. And again, I don't want to be just sloughing over any of this stuff, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. Please, if you have any ideas or any thoughts or suggestions, please feel free to contact me. I'll have a letter accompanying this to your, I think it's your manager, I looked up, and hopefully he gets this to you, and that you maybe give some further thought to becoming involved in this project, which again I consider to be a worthwhile and economically profitable, hopefully, project. I know people of your caliber probably used to more money than maybe able to be offered at this juncture, but I also believe that independent films, I know some of them make some pretty good coin. So, man, I just know, I've felt in my heart since Casey, the youngest boy, died, especially the day after he died, we were torn apart, and I mean, emotionally, just it was horrible. And I was very near here, actually. I took a walk the next morning, and through my tears, I don't know, I just had this, like Casey, my boy, was talking to me about this. He had seen, he had read the first 100 pages of my book, which I completed. The book was about 300 some pages a couple of weeks before he passed. But when it was only 100 pages into it, he picked it up one day. When I was at work, the last 2 years of his life, he came to live with us, and he had been on his own since he was 18, done well, you know, done okay, but came to us at the age of 30 with this heroin addiction, which we had no idea. Anyway, for 2 years, I did what I could, tried to help him, took him to meetings and stuff, and I'm not a big 12-step meeting Nazi or anything like that, but you know, I still go to meetings, and I believe in recovery, but and he really tried. But anyway, he picked up my book when I had 100 pages into it, and I didn't know I'd left it out. Nobody had read it. I hadn't let anybody read it, and I got home from work, and he said, "Dude, I read your book. It's awesome. First book that's held my interest since Catcher in the Rye in high school." And you know, a guy gave me, you know, he gave me the inspiration to continue. Anyway, the day after he passed, I felt that he was speaking to me about this becoming a movie, and I had no ideas about that, but now it's getting closer to the reality, and I'm sorry to take up this much of your time. Peace out. Love you. Hope you get in touch with me or Nick or Angel, and we can get something going. Take care. Bye-bye.